Yeah, so 1921, right?
Yeah.
Y'all, you speak on that a lot. Y'all speak on that a lot. The whole team, like it's a real thing. But for people who don't really know history, because a lot of people don't, speak on the 1921 and what that represents.
Man, that was, the race massacre. We don't call it the race riot because it wasn't no riot. You know what I mean? Them folks came up in there and, bombed all our businesses. You know what I mean? All the black folks' businesses came out on Greenwood and the Greenwood district, fucked all our shit up. You know what I mean? And then killed hella black folks and shit like that, buried them, threw them off the Arkansas River. You know what I mean? Man, they got mass graves down there. You know what I mean? Mass graves that we don't even know. It's people that our ancestors buried and shit like that in under buildings, you know what I mean? In fields and shit like that, under things that, people done built and shit like that down there. They still looking for some people, Yeah. Like, that's what it's really deep, you know what I mean? That was really the last time that black folks really had money, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's coming up on 100 years from now. So with this 1921 movement, shit, we hoping, this what we trying to do. We trying to bring 2021, you know what I mean? We gonna be on again, you know what I mean? On me, black folks, the money gonna be riding through Tulsa. On my mama, right on Greenwood.
Does 1921 still affect Tulsa today?
Yes.
Explain how.
On my mama, because it's kind of like, shit, if we would have kept all them buildings, like, do you know that the trenches, where the trenches is right now, that's where the buildings and all the nice houses and shit was, you know what I mean? So it's like, shit, if them people was still, you know what I mean? Like, if them people would have still kept their business and we would have moved forward with that shit, on my mama, 5-1 probably wouldn't even be 5-1, you know what I mean? Like, all the sets on the north and shit like that, that probably wouldn't have even, flourished to how it's flourishing, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, shit, of course, niggas is down there struggling. Niggas is down there broke, you know what I mean? Abandoned houses, you know what I mean? Abandoned buildings. Shit, crackheads, you know what I mean? Like it's a bunch of shit that's happening in that same area, you know what I mean? When I say the nitty, shit, that's shit on when you get on Pine and shit like that, for everybody that don't know Tulsa, when you get on Pine and shit like that, you ride down that street, that's where Greenwood was, you know what I mean? You'll get on Greenwood, and when I call the nitty, it's from Pine and on 4th, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, shit, over there, shit, niggas is poor, you know what I mean? Niggas is poor.
When you're in school, are they teaching y'all the history, or is it something that y'all have to learn on your own?
I ain't teach us shit. We from that motherfucker, and they ain't teach us shit. On my granny, like, shit. I didn't start learning about it until I started putting myself on game, you know what I mean? Like, to one day,
That's crazy.
On my mama, I'm like, damn. I'm like, let me go, that show, Watch Me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on my mama, so shit, I ended up seeing that shit. I heard about, the 1921 shit, but I ended up seeing that. It made me more interested. So I'm like, let me go to the library and shit like that. So I went to the library and started searching it up. And I started doing research and shit like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's what they did. This how they did this. This what they did. At the time, I ain't had no job and shit like that. So shit, all I had was free time. You know what I mean? That's when I recorded, that preacher from the projects and shit like that. All I had was free time. So it's like, shit, I took a whole 2 days. You know what I mean? I rode all the way around through what they call it, Greenwood. I rode down Greenwood and shit like that, looking at pictures and looking at areas, you know what I mean, of Greenwood, and comparing it like, damn, what if that still would have been here? You know what I mean? Like, what if this would have been here? You know what I mean? So it's like, I went on and did that shit. They had a little service at the little Greenwood Cultural Center and shit like that. I went up in the class and sat in the class and shit like that by myself on my mama.
Right.
And then that's when I was like, hey, I got this song called By Say Body. And then that's when I'm like, okay, hey, I'm about to throw this in the beginning because I know they're going to listen to this song. It's a banger. You know what I mean? I'm like, hey, so for you to listen to this song, you're going to have to get put up on some game. And I know that just me putting that little snippet up in there and talking about it a litlittle bit sparked hella people's mind.
It did, because it sparked mine. I'm like, yo, okay, he woke. You know what I mean?
G.O.D.
So do you ever think of like, wow, I'm really popping on 100th year, like that's coming up, on the anniversary, like that's not a coincidence.
Yeah, it's not, but it was already written. You know what I mean? Like, this was supposed to happen. Like, this interview, this was supposed to happen. You know what I mean? The time it happened, shit, I'm supposed to be here. Everybody that's here supposed to be here. You know, Huddy brought the little camera in. She supposed to be here. You know what I mean? So it's like shit. It was so written, bro. This shit feel normal. Like, I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, it feel normal. Like I told you, shit, the other day is the first day that I really just couldn't sleep. I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? So it's like, bro, this shit was already written, bro, on me. And I didn't even realize that it was almost 100 year until I'm like, it's 2020. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't even think like that, bro. People don't even be like, damn, it's almost 100 year. They don't even think that, you know what I mean? Like right now, we in the 20s. You know, people don't even think like, damn, 1920s. 2020s, you know what I mean? I don't even think like that, bro. That's really when it run my bill. I'm like, damn, it's 2020. It's almost 100 years, you know, on my mama.